It's a kind of magic. Hey, kia ora. Helen Brahms here, going live from Sun City in Arizona. Hope you're all having a super fantastic, sparkling Magic Monday. Yes, it's that day of the week we get to explore the magic of life, the magic that is all around us. Some people call it law of attraction. There's miracles. There's all sorts of incredible imagination. Oh my gosh, think about this. I read it. Where did I read that quote? I read the quote recently. It said something about, I'm probably going to screw this up, but it was something about how a magic carpet is created with your imagination. No, hang on. Your magic carpet is the imagination, is your imagination. And I'm like thinking, yeah. Or is it for a magic carpet to fly, you have to let your imagination run wild. Something like that. It was something about magic carpets and imagination. And I was sitting there, I was thinking about going, you're right. And you think about Aladdin and about the magic that, when they're floating on the carpet, when they're flying around on the carpet, and think of other movies and stuff where there's been magic carpets as well. Where is it? Or even beds, bed knobs and broomsticks, I think it was. Bed knobs and broomsticks. Was that movie? They go flying around on the bed. Yeah, I think that was it. Anyway, but when you see these movies where they're flying around on things like carpets and beds and things, how are they getting there? It's the imagination of the people who wrote the story. It's imagination's being let loose. So if you take that magic carpet and think of it of, this is how you're going to move through your imagination to find that one spark of an idea. You're floating above everything. You're looking down on what are you looking down on? And sometimes I feel like that when I'm writing, is that, I'm up here and I'm looking down at the scene that's unfolding before me. I'm not standing in the middle of the scene. I'm looking down upon it. And that gives me a perspective of how characters are moving around that scene, and what's happening in that moment in time. And then other times I'll put myself in the middle of the scene so I can turn and look this way. I can turn and look this way. Look straight ahead. I can see what's going on behind me. It's just, but most of the time you're on that carpet and you're overlooking everything. So let your imagination run wild today. And then I came across this quote that said, "Magic lies in challenging what seems impossible." And it was Carol Moseley Braun. Said, "Magic lies in challenging what seems impossible." And I'm like, I loved that. It just sort of like slapped me across the face when I saw it, and I thought I have to mention it on Monday. So what magic are you creating today? Are you using your imagination to write stories? Are you using your imagination to write a song, to put music on a piece of paper? Are you using your imagination to come up with a new idea, a new creative idea for your business? Are you using your imagination to plan something special for someone? What are you using your imagination for? Remember, your imagination is the magic. It is the magic. The imagination is the magic. So use your imagination. Never lose that. I used to come up with all sorts of things when I was a kid, and I kind of lost it for a little bit, and then I got it back, and I was like, wow, I love this. I am not letting go of this again. I am using my imagination. It is part of who I am. So deal with it. Your Tell Your Story question of the day. What was your favorite toy as a child, and do you still have it? This is interesting because some people will pull out a box of, I remember when I was growing up, my parents gave me some books, and it turned out these were books that they read as a child, that were now being passed along to me. And that's how I got introduced to the Secret Seven and the Famous Five by Enid, both series by Enid Blyton. And I got introduced to books by Alistair MacLean as well, because books my dad would read. And that's where my love for, it's all where my love for action and mystery and using detective skills and all that came into play with all of that. And I love the Alistair MacLean books that I used to read as a kid as well. So there were all sorts of really cool books that I got given as a kid. I don't have any of them now. They got passed on to my brothers, and I guess eventually donated somewhere. But one of my favorite toys as a child, and yes, I still have it, is a doll that I was given when I was about 3 or 4. I got given my first doll, and her name is Anne. And I actually still have Anne to this day. You know, I'm 54 years old and I still have Anne. So I've had her for 50 to 51 years. Her face has faded a little bit over time with the eyebrows and things. She had this long black hair and, well, sorry, dark brown hair. And my brother at some point in time, when I was about, what would I have been, about 7, decided to give her a haircut. So she has these little short pieces about this long across the front of her hairline, across here. But I still have her. I still have Anne. She's currently sitting in a box in storage, but I still have her. I still have a lot of the clothes that I had for her. I don't have her cradle or high chair anymore. My niece, my parents actually still had the cradle and it was a rocking cradle. Still had the cradle and the high chair, and asked if it would be okay to give that to my niece. And I said, yeah, I don't have a problem with it. Now, these things had never been painted over the years. So my mum stripped it all. I still had the original paint on the cradle. It was a wooden cradle that had bars across each side, as solid ends, and the base was curved so it could rock from side to side. And it had never been painted as long as I had it. It had never been painted. And this was probably about, I don't know. This was a few years ago. I'm trying to remember. I was living in the States at that time. But Mum sanded it all down and painted it pink and gave it to my niece, and she absolutely loved them for her dolls and stuff. And one of the arms on the high chair was broken. It was just where the screw had come out. So they got that all fixed so you could now raise and lower the tray of the high chair. So so that went to my niece. I don't know if she still has them for her daughter or not. But yeah, she's now a mum, so it was a while ago that she got given those. But I don't know what's happened to them over the years, whether she still has them or not. But I still have my doll. I said it was given to her when I was probably about 3 or 4. And that was, 51 years ago, and I still have that. Still have that doll, and it's probably great comfort over the years and everything else. And it's always good to bring out something from your childhood that just takes you to a place in time when you're struggling with something, to be able to bring out something so simple as a toy from your childhood and just to sit there with it and play with it. It brings a sense of comfort to you that can help you through rough times. And I said, I still have my doll. She is in a box in storage. But I still have her. Maybe one day I will have somebody to pass her along to. I don't know who I would pass her along to, because I only have grandsons. Who knows? I only have grandsons right now. But maybe I will get her refreshed, get her face redone. She's missing some eyelashes on her eyes as well. And her eyes are a little cloudy from the dust over the years. And then she's got her little short haircut from my brother. Yes, I was not happy about that one. But maybe I'll take her and get her hair fixed, get her face refreshed. But otherwise than that, she's still in really, really good condition. And I still have a lot of the clothes that I had for her, including a couple that my mum knitted for her as well. So I still have a lot of those clothes and things. It's amazing what you keep over the years and how you can preserve it. So anyway, that's it for me. I do need your family tree questions. So if you have, we've got our Family Tree Answers podcast are going to be starting very, 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 very soon. So I need questions to answer on the podcasts. So if you would like to private message me your questions, it could be on the terminology. It could be on the fact you've come across a roadblock. It could be something like, how do I get started? Once I get started, what do I do next? Or I found this information. What do I do with it? How can I tell if this information is accurate? So it's all sorts of questions that you can come up with about your family tree research and stuff. Private message me the questions, because like I said, we're going to be doing the Family Tree Answers podcast starting very, 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 very soon. My goal is to have it up and running before the end of the month, but I want to get it done well before then. Anyway, that's it from me. I'm out of here. Go have a super fantastic sparkling day, and we'll catch you guys back here around 6 p.m. Pacific time this evening. Hei konara.